I bought this 2004 Polaris Ranger 6x6 for $625. Now this was a part of a package deal with 2 other Rangers and the Kubota that's in the background right there. This one's the last one here, and this is gonna be the most work because I've robbed a bunch of parts off of this to fix the other 2 while I waited on said parts to come in so those could go ahead and get out the door. I can't even remember at this point exactly everything I bought for this. Now, I already went through the motor because starting out, this motor had a nice little knock to it. So it had to be pulled and rebuilt. I used a used crank that I had. I used a brand new piston I had that I had bought for something else that wouldn't fit. And I just did new valve seals. I ended up having to replace the cylinder. Got that from over there at Brutal Parts. We're waiting for the stator to come in because I had to buy a new flywheel and stator because I pulled it for the other unit. Now here's a huge parts pile we have. I did have to replace this here upper motor mount. The choke cable got robbed from that for another unit. New stator gasket. It's a brand new front axle for it. One of the axles are jacked up. Got some new bed shocks. I feel like these were more expensive than they should have been. Got a new battery here, brand new exhaust donut because it had a pretty good exhaust leak. New air filter, seat covers because the seat on it doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look good either. Need a front wheel bearing, which I had. This over here is new tie rod ends. And to go with the tie rod ends, I bought this alignment tool. Now this bolts to both front wheels. This will be the first time using it, but the last few times I did an alignment and eyeballed it, I just could not get everything perfectly right to where I liked it. We did have to buy a replacement. This is a heat shield. Ended up having to buy a replacement starter relay because we robbed this for one of the last ones. These are clutch buttons because we have to rebuild the secondary clutch on this unit. Now, I already did this once and now we gotta do one more. The secondary, and I'm gonna take the best looking of the 2, but this just give you an idea. Those buttons are broken on here, and I've been tossing these secondaries every single time. So I bought a special tool to be able to fix these. You see how much wear is on that? Now, instead of having to replace the secondary at 150 bucks plus, just that's for used. Now, most of the time, I can get by with this and I can keep a few parts around from some old secondaries. This cover, I think I pulled off for one of the other units. This was missing, had to replace this. This is for the engine bay cover. We were missing one of these. This is for the left side. And then got another coil. Had to rob this for the other unit because there was some ghetto rigging on there and some bushings for our middle drive because all of them are shot. Now I'm pretty sure I have to go through and I got some nice secondaries out there that aren't like this, but there's broken parts on them. So I can take 2 and make 1. But yeah, overall, quite a bit of work. We're waiting on that stator to come in so we can get that all put together, and I'm gonna have to get this cover cleaned up. There's definitely a lot of work here. The only thing that bothers me that I didn't notice till yesterday is this line here and that line are 2 different sizes. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, this engine was the engine I pulled out of here, this case. But, as you can tell, both of those inlets are the same. Sportsmen's are like this. Rangers will have a larger one right here for the inlet, outlet, whichever side that is. And I'm hoping I have one of those barb fittings around here. I don't think I do. We may end up having to find a way to just make that work. It did work initially, so maybe that would be fine. Oh yeah, that engine got a new water pump in it. I'll put a total of what all I spent on the engine. Some of these parts, I'm not gonna consider them expenses to this unit because I pulled this off to fix the other unit, pulled this off to fix the other unit, etc. You know, so I don't wanna consider that an expense to it. But there's a ton of work to be done on this thing. I do have to pull the oil tank off and clean it out because when I drained the oil on this, it looked like one of my kids got a hold of a big thing of glitter and poured it in the oil and just mixed it up. So there's like a little filter in there that has to be cleaned out and stuff. And then hopefully we don't have any other issues with this unit. It's mostly just seems like a lot of work. I do have an OEM carb that I managed to find while I was digging through some stuff a couple days ago. We're just gonna have to get this thing all nice and cleaned up and see if we can make it work. I have lots and lots of carb parts for these things, so hopefully that'll work out. I already honed the cylinder, did all that, got that engine good to go. So I don't post a whole lot about me rebuilding these engines because that's actually my first 500 to rebuild from bottom to top. The Viking was one of the first ones, and I think I've done 2 800s at this point. So that's like 4 engines I've rebuilt. It's not rocket science, it's just specs and stuff. You gotta be careful with the torque specs on the cylinder head and such, but besides that, these Polaris engines are very simple to rebuild. And I'm gonna start with getting this ready to roll. Kinda wanna have everything to where it's just good to go. Once we get that stator in, then all I gotta do is drop the motor in. And all the other bushings and stuff in this clutch are all good. There's shims and stuff in here, but I just rebuilt it with the same shims it had. Luckily, I actually have another one. Both of these primaries are pretty much just worn out. Like, I realize you can't feel a picture, but if you could, you would know how bad that feels. Same thing with this one. Like, how much grooving is in that? Somebody's just smoked these, and I think those are probably both trash. So while we wait on the rest of our parts to come in, we're gonna start over here on the front end, work our way back. All right, got the oil tank cleaned out, and I'm pretty sure nobody's ever cleaned this thing out. You have to remove it, and the bottom bolt where the line goes onto is removable. It's got like a filter in there. Took me a lot to clean that out. So stator came in last night, went ahead and installed it on the engine. So the engine, basically we just gotta get the engine in here now, and we should be good to go afterwards. Just kind of got to put a carb on it and get everything plugged up, buttoned up. These oil tanks though, you'll store all that glitter, and you don't want that going back into another engine. I think that's a lot of failure. I think with people pull these engines out and swap them. If it had like crank failure or something, you got to clean that out. If it's just top end, you're probably all right. But crank failure, rod knocking, stuff like that, yeah, that's gotta come out. Clean this all out as best I could. There's a lot of dirt under there. It was a lot of dirt. Did I pick it up? I don't think I picked it all up. Yeah, right there. Just to give you an idea. There's a lot. Probably should have used a shovel instead of a shop vac. Now, we can put this carburetor on. Got everything all lined out. This thing is an OEM carb that I put together with a bunch of Chinese parts. It'll get the job done though. And I'd rather have Chinese parts and an OEM carb than have a Chinese carb. And then we're going to replace this intake boot. Come on. There we go. Didn't quite have holes yet, but they weren't far away. And while we got it apart, just make sure that we're not eating any dirt. Well, I hit more on the starter than inside that boot, but it's enough. Spray that super clean in there. This stuff helps break down that oil. Any residue you might have had, see? Hey, starter shiny. The starter snidey. We'll get it right eventually. The starter is shiny. Just to make sure. We'll get it all on there. Lined up. All right, now we should be good to go to fire this up. Need to find something to pinch off the line, clear all these tools off. All right, we should be good to go to start. Something's wrong. I did something wrong. Did y'all hear that tapping? It's not a good sound, but it did sound like it was in the top end, so I'm gonna pop that open and take a look. So I'm looking at it up here. Everything looks good. All the valves are coming back up like they're supposed to. Honestly, that sounds like the valves. The exhaust valves are making contact. Wonder what I did wrong here. One thing that I'm questioning myself on now is if I put the piston in right. And I took a picture of it, so I need to look at that. Theoretically, if you put the piston in backwards, because these don't have an arrow on it, it has 2 dots on one side. And I believe you're supposed to put that on the magneto side, which is what I should have done. So I went back and double checked. I did put the piston in correctly. The funny part was I drew a frowny face on it, just in case the next guy, as a joke for a post on Facebook. I'm aware that that's just gonna burn off. I went ahead and swapped the cam out, so got the old cam, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if that's what it was. I think I'm about to have to open this engine back up. We're gonna try it though with the other cam. Everything's put back together over here. Guess I'm gonna open it back up and see where I messed up at, because I messed up somewhere. Okay, I got good news. By good news, I mean, at least this wasn't that expensive. As far as I could tell, I actually think it's the head gasket itself. Now, when I was putting this thing on there, it seemed weird, like nothing wanted to line up right, like it was machined wrong, and it had ended up coming apart in 3 pieces. So this is the cylinder head side, and this is the cylinder side. And I'm gonna take this right over here to do a little bit of a better graphic. You see how that's silver right there? Not on that side quite. All that around that edge. I am pretty sure the piston was making contact right there. it comes out a little further right there. Like I said, I don't think this was even put together right to begin with. And you know, another thing I know for sure is, so whenever I have a used cylinder head that is a little questionable surface-wise, I use copper spray gasket. I had a mechanic buddy of mine tell me it wouldn't hurt anything if it doesn't need it. It would help if it does need it. It'll help fill in little imperfections. So I use that when I rebuild these cylinders, and I sprayed this. So I know for a fact I got all the way around right there. So I guess I need to order a new head gasket. One thing I was a little worried about was the cylinder, the piston itself, because you could turn it to a certain point and I could feel it hitting something. Now it doesn't look like the piston's been hitting anything. You still see my frowny face on there. And that little feeling I had that was right there is gone. So, yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to buy a head gasket for this thing, which is a bummer. I mean, but that's, best way to put it, that's my own fault. That is my own damn fault for using Chinese parts. That's a niche cylinder head gasket. So I'll probably get online and order something else, see what I can get my hands on. And that's not even the first one of those. One of them I had was bent, and then that one. So I guess that's a no-go on that niche head gasket kit anymore. So I'm gonna go order a head gasket and come back to it. All right, so we got the new head gasket on. I did go with another cheap one because that was the only one I could get in without waiting till, like, I don't know, another 3 or 4 days into the week, because it was Friday afternoon when I realized I needed it. So let's see. It's nice that it's not knocking now. Turn that auto speed up just a little bit. Oh, she's idling good. That's a good sign. Doesn't want anything in the upper RPM range though. See if it'll move. Okay. I'm thinking we may have the needle set wrong. I don't know, I don't remember what I set it at sticking it in there. But what counts is it sounds good. No more of that weird knocky-docky sound because of a head gasket. That is nothing that would have been on my bingo cards for knocking sound. Yeah, she needs more fuel. If you choke it, got the same thing going on with the exhaust donut like on the other one. It's smoking over here for whatever reason. I don't know what they coated those with, but I'll make sure not to buy that again. Works just fine, it just smells terrible. So let's bump it up a little bit. Springs sure don't feel dense. Second clip down, I'm gonna take that, get it off of there, and move it to the third clip. Make sure we're attached good. We'll give that a shot. Many things that are a pain to get to on some of these units. This sure isn't too bad on a Ranger. I believe I went with the OEM diaphragm. Doesn't seem like a lot of tension, and maybe it's just these carbs, but I do not have an OEM spring, just China springs. Well, let's give that a shot. Well, she's opening up more with choke, so I believe that means we need more fuel. And I do not know if this carb, because I used the Chinese jets out of the carb that was on this. I wonder if I can find some more OEM jets. Another OEM main at least. Okay, so there are two things I did not think to consider. One of those being, I didn't pay attention to what cam I stuck in there. That could have very well have been an HO cam. I didn't mark down any of where I pulled that stuff from to consider that. If it's a regular cam, it's the same thing. If I put an HO cam in there, it just makes it a little bit faster. Well, I also went ahead and looked it up to see what the main jet size is for each of them. For this specific unit from the factory would have been 135. Which I don't have. I found some Chinese jets. I got a 145 and a 150. Now the HO Sportsman's, they came with, that's almost like we're getting too much fuel. Oh wait, I stalled it out with the choke though. The HO Sportsman's came with a 152 and a half. We're just gonna go ahead and open her up. We'll take a look, see what size jet that is in there. I didn't even think about it when I was putting it together. And that's something I should have considered. I have a marking on this one, and it is a little unclear whether it says 1.3 or 13. That's it. Now I'm gonna look, see if I see any difference. That whole size is massively different. We're gonna stick the 145 in there and hope for the best. Maybe to make this thing fast, it'll do wheelies. We can chop the exhaust off of it, make a blah, just for fun. I'm just kidding. I don't need another Danger Ranger. If you've been following me for a while, you've probably seen the post where I had the 6x6 that did wheelies. That thing was fun, but it's no fun when stuff's constantly breaking. What sucks, we can't even test drive this today. It's just pouring rain all day. Sounded like hail a minute ago. Hopefully we're spot on with this 145. The HO did have a bigger carburetor so it could get more air in. So essentially, even with the HO, you couldn't get the, and I could be very, very wrong about this. Anybody who happens to know more, please chime in. But with less air, you could have all the extra fuel you want, but, and I don't know. These carbs may be perfectly tunable to go into a bigger unit, or not bigger unit, but with a bigger jet to be able to push out the same amount of power as a regular HO with HO carb. We'll see. We're gonna have to give it a second to pump some fuel in. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's spicy right there. We got that HO cam in this thing, man. We got Chinese jets. It's got a comp RV cam in it. Oh look, it's got a 4L60E. All it's got is neutral. First, second, neutral, neutral, neutral. Oh man, Chevy can make an engine. They can't make a transmission. Yep. We're golden in that department. Now we're lacking is a clutch cover, which I don't like to do that till we're done. I want to make sure everything's good. This little thingy right here, which obviously that's kind of last. You know what really sucked? So this was the one on the unit. This is the one I had out there that I was going to use for the left side. I bought a left side. No, I bought a right side. Bought a right side. I got a left side. So that's the one I bought. So I don't have one for over there. And I'm not waiting around for it either. That's another week and a half or a week of waiting for that little piece of plastic. And I'll be quite honest with you, when I wash this, I don't have high hopes. But as I was looking at it, and I was just gonna use this and send the other one back since they sold me the wrong one, they're wrong. So this is a Series 10 one. This is the one that came off the unit. See the thinner lines? This one's got different body lines. I didn't even catch that. Then when you put them together, oh, I guess that one would probably work. It looked longer earlier. Nah, that'd still work. I'll just set it back to the side. Here's what it is. I'm gonna need to double check the oil again after we've, done all that. Wash it, and then this cover, and this cover, the seat cover. I don't like doing this one or this one till I'm done, just because they kind of cover everything up. And we might have to do some of these, but I need to drive it first. Neutral light wasn't working yesterday. It is now. And we'll be good to go on this one. I'll be glad to see this one out of the shop, especially because this is not gonna clean up as nice as I thought it would. That floorboard looks bad, but spend another $100 to get another one of those? Tires are at least in pretty good shape. I ain't even checked to see if this worked. Yep, gonna have to figure that out. That don't work. I'd went ahead and stuck this plastic on yesterday, or while I was waiting to get the head gasket in. Lo and behold, it's not even the right one. It fits. Good enough to get the job done. It's definitely not right though. See how the body lines don't line up right there? That other one came with the unit. This one I bought. So when you mount this one up, the body line's just flat all the way across instead of having all that extra stuff right there. I bet you that one right there came off of a 05 6x6. Because the 6x6 has different ones, they're shorter. The I have some other ones in there. Or I say that, maybe it just came off another one. I don't know. It was a pain in the ass to get it mounted too. But the 6x6 ones are shorter this way. Dump bed shocks are on. Lots of cleaning, that's for sure. But like just looking at it, this ain't gonna clean up that nice. The cage is rough. We're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to be able to test drive it. It's supposed to rain like this all night. And it's dark and I don't feel like getting soaking wet riding this thing around. That doesn't sound like a good time. It's my friends. It's the blog doggies. What y'all doing? You might see these little guys in all my videos. They ain't my dogs, but they like to hang out here at the shop. Eat things. They prevent me from having skunks, raccoons, cats. All right, so the rain's died down. It's not done, but well, this Ranger needs to get done. So we're gonna take it out for a rip and see if everything works as it should. It's cold. Too bad this one don't have a roof. Sure would be nice today. So far, so good. Try four-wheel drive out. It's crazy, this thing has that extra muffler on it, so all you really hear is the engine. You don't hear the exhaust. Front drive line's working. So everything looks good. Time to get the rest of this thing back together. We just gotta get the clutch cover put back on. I gotta get it washed. Get this side cover and that front panel back on and she's good to go. These last two Rangers have really burned through all of my spare Ranger parts. Spare Ranger bolts. Don't get me wrong, I still got a lot of these clutch cover bolts, but man, I've been told you could use Tapcons. For those of you that might do construction, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tapcons do look just like this, but blue. So apparently the rain's not gonna let up today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wash it in the rain. It's not exactly ideal because it's gonna dilute this stuff just as fast as I'm putting it on there. But gotta do what you gotta do. We're gonna spray it down with some super clean wheel cleaner. I should have started at the top and worked my way down. Make these wheels look as good as we can. Use this super clean aerosol. Get all in this seat under the engine bay. Probably shouldn't let that seat get wet, but there's all this green stuff over here. So cleaner it is, better it looks. I got it in my eye, it burns. Ah! All right, there she is, all washed up. I gotta come back and wash the green off of that side. I didn't get to it, but it looks not too bad. Runs good, drives good. It's nothing special. In my opinion, in this shape, this thing's probably a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's got holes drilled all in it. And it's one of those units that doesn't look as good up close as it does in the video. And like you can see right here, like the cage, like these first generation cages were riveted together. It's not that great. I mean, especially for a unit with, what is that, 1,100 hours? So nothing spectacular. By wash it twice, I'm pretty sure I gotta wash that out down there again. No, I got it pretty good. Maybe we're good. But that's it for this one. Y'all stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.